Hey, welcome fans. It's me, 5 months is my last video, which no one even reviewed. They don't even watched. That's bad. That is bad. But I do plan to cover more comics, and I thought I'd do proper ongoing series reviews as I got heard on the Absolute series with DC, and plan to read the new Marvel's new series coming out this year, as well inspired by the Absolute Universe. Yeah. And the first one is obviously Absolute Batman. Why am I covering this now, even though it's been out for 2 years? Well, if you haven't been in the news, seen the news lately, recently it's been announced that Absolute Batman gets its own adaptation, a formal adaptation, and it's gonna be a proper one, but it's gonna be CGI, sadly. Who knows what they could? But let's see what they could cook up with it. I mean, this comic is really good, seeing it reimagining the Batman mythos. So, I don't know much about the events that led up to this. It's like what happened with the Ultimate Universe. Some changes and stuff. They actually gave excuses. Surprised they gave excuse for this universe. As with DC's multiverse, I'm really surprised they decided to give an excuse for the creation of this continuity, the Absolute Universe. So what I gather, this universe is created by Darkseid. The world is more fucked up, making the heroes more powerless, but putting them in more powerless states yet, and potentially giving rise to new versions of these heroes. They're much more brutal. As this series reminds us of Bruce Wayne's story. So let's get into it. So the story opens up with a young Bruce Wayne with his father Thomas Wayne, as he's looking at the band closure at Gotham Zoo. And his dad tells him to come on. Then we cut to his individual. We assume that Bruce is the one narrating about how Gotham has changed, lost its heart. But actually, the person he was supposed to be Alfred. So in this universe, Alfred and Bruce. Alfred was never connected to the Waynes, and the Waynes aren't even rich in this continuity. Again, this is quite a unique idea. Strips Batman of all the money and resources he had. Instead, starts having him having rise as Batman in a different way. With just differences. That's pretty cool. So Albert is still British, because he does say mate little later on, but he says mom and dad instead of mum and dad. Like, I don't know why they didn't have him say mum and dad since he's British. This is just an idea. So Albert wasn't there at the start when Batman series began in the 1940s. I'm not joking, by the way. That is true. So throughout the early 40s, when Batman's debut in 1939, throughout the early 1940s, it was just Batman and Robin. There was no Batcave, no Alfred, just the Batmobile and stuff. Sorry. It wasn't until Alfred eventually was introduced, but not as the Alfred we know today. The Alfred that was introduced had a different last name, and he was more of a bumbling idiot. A bit of a bumbling idiot. More of a comic relief character. But Alfred actually got reimagined for the Batman serials that came out throughout the 40s, which also introduced the Batcave. Sorry. Alfred, so. Yeah, those series introduced popular Batman lore that we know today. That wasn't in the comics at the time. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool to find that out. Once I'm done, may check out the Spawn series on HBO Max. And I read a Spawn comic. I do want to read them, but it's very tricky to find a lot of the comics. Global Comics doesn't even have all Spawn's issues. Not the early ones, anyway. So it's going to be really tough for me to read them. What's about the cover as well? Cover up to the end of season 1. Just read on to where up to where the current season ended, etc. Anyway, anyway, they changed Albert's appearance to match the film. And they basically create 2 to house the Golden Age characters. They introduced Albert Pennyworth to match for the film, match for the series, because he was named Albert Pennyworth in there. Eventually, one Alfred got killed during the prequel. Then 2 Alfred ended up jumping the ship to Earth 1 before eventually Crisis of Earth happened. Yeah, and basically the main continuity, Albert's dead, still dead in the main continuity. Now, that is surprising, because Albert's such an important member of the Bat family. So I'm surprised he's still dead in the main continuity. Pretty interesting. And they introduced a new Butler character, who actually is related to Alfred. We'll see how she does. I'm not reading the main series, so I can't really say much. So, yeah, which makes me sad. Because I want to catch up on all decades worth of continuity. It's going to take me a long time. That's why I want to start with these Ultimate Universe comics. Easy to read and catch up when you readers to jump in. So, I like how Marvel created its own new continuity to create these new series that's more darker. Because that makes me hope they might create more continuities to tell more stories. Like the What If series, or What If scenarios, but Marvel have their own Elseworlds type series with Watcher the Watcher, introducing us these Earths, telling us some differences and stuff. Because DC has Elseworlds. They'll tell them all kinds of stories about different continuities, without fear of retcon and stuff. I heard about that. Albert's working with some shady secret organization. Actually, being tasked to keep an eye on a group called the Party Animals. They also told about a mysterious figure that's after them, being got after them too. The guy, it appears in their investigation, he's free to engage. So, and that Alfred talks about things about more the stuff, not questionable and stuff. And after that, we cut to Jim. And we see Bruce. We introduced to this version, continuity version of Bruce Wayne. He's jacked. He's fucking jacked, guys. Like, dang, he's bigger than the main continuity Batman, which is more interesting because this Batman had more hellish. This is more hellish world, so this Batman's more muscular. I find it pretty cool. Right, then doing this whole boat session, we get bits of his past. We learn Thomas Wayne was a teacher and was teaching at Bruce's school. And then on a class field trip that day. We then talk about a lion. But Bruce says it as is living the life. Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, interesting enough, shocking enough. Both Waynes don't die in this continuity. I'll get to that in a bit. Dinner's rage, Bruce accidentally destroys the sandbag. He apologizes to the owner of the gym, Wayland. Obviously, it's a reference. Obviously, this guy is this continuity version of Wayland Jones, aka Killer Croc. As he has a crocodile on around, small crocodile on his neck. He is gonna burst Bruce with a bag, I understand. So he mentions about, since Bruce has other friends, he mentions someone called Oz. He mentions someone called Ozzy. And he talk about helping get a license. And this has got to be a reference to Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin. It's going a bit later when he calls him the Penguin. Because his name Penguin. So, yeah, he also mentions other characters, Harvey and Eddie. I don't know about Eddie. Don't know any about DC characters called Eddie. But I know Harvey is also reference to Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face. As since in this country, Bruce is friends with all three, which is quite an interesting idea. I think it's quite an interesting idea to do a Batman be friends with them. But have you know any DC character called Eddie? Just realised. I think Eddie might be Edward Nygma, Edward Nashon, also known as Edward Nygma, aka the Riddler. I can't believe I didn't realise that until just now. I'm a dumbass. I only just realised that now. I don't know why. So that's three of Batman's iconic rogue gallery as friends. Now for Harvey, it's not technically the first time he's been friends with Bruce Wayne, as I think the first time he's ever been considered a friend of Batman was in the animated series from the 90s. I could be wrong though. Again, I've never read all the comics, so I don't know. Feel free to let me know in the comments down below. When the first time Bruce and Harvey, how many times Bruce and Harvey were friends, prior to this comic, because I know about the animated series and the Arkham games, thanks to Arkham Shadow, expanding more on their friendship. Good game, by the way. I recommend you give it a watch. If you can't play VR, I recommend you watch the walkthrough of it. It is fucking good. Trust me. Anyway. So it's pretty interesting that this idea that happened. As you know, also covered on the comics, Penguin hates the Waynes. Literally hit their family for his family being in ruin. So cute. So these are reimagined characters. Of course, we know these characters will become the villains we know now, but how? And are they really be villains? We also got a story focused on Catwoman. We also recently got episode Catwoman. So Selina Kyle's there. And judging by a photo, she might be one of the friend groups, as we see a young person wearing cat ears. So and having long hair, so I assume that's Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman. Again, an interesting idea to have them be friends since childhood. It's quite unique reimagining too. It gives them all the idea behind it. But anyway, it is a bit concerned for Bruce lately. He's been acting a little weird. He's been acting a lot lately. I mean, they haven't seen that poker for a while. Bruce just brushes it off and leaves. Been waiting, pretty worried. I mean, so, I'm curious, was Wayland actually black in the comics before he became Killer Croc? Yeah, I think he was a black kid. I think. I'm not trying to be racist, but I think he was black. I can't remember his human form. Killer Croc's on so many designs over the past couple of decades. But when he debuted, he was more humanoid to become more animal-like over the past couple of decades. It switched back and forth between the stories depending on the continuity. Yeah, I know, it's really confusing. Anyway. That night, we introduced the leader of the animals. Who I think might be Ronan Sionis, aka Black Mask. But I could be wrong. The guy is wearing a black mask, but he's not wearing an iconic white suit, so it might not be him. I was talking to Moroni and Carmine Falcone, two of the biggest crime families in Gotham, before Batman showed up. So I'm pretty interested. When you look at the anime series, why they never use the Falcones or the Morones, but they use the original character called Rupert Thorne. That's quite interesting. Was there a reason why? I don't know. Anyway, Bruce. The two families are pissed that the party animals are bringing on the turf. That they've been keeping for 150 years, so it's like, but the leader doesn't care and has them killed. Brutal. Like Bungie Strangle, the other has nice one on his fucking eyes. Yeah. And then it's a Gotham rally, which is to Major Gordon, Commissioner Gordon, as Commissioner Gordon in continuity. So it's interesting. What's a Major though? What's a Major? Is he like a higher up or something? The most ever died of that Harvey Bullock is Commissioner. Yeah. Wow. Bullock's a really complex character in the comics, I think. I don't know. He doesn't like Batman, but respects Gordon, at least when he's seen in the animated series. Respects. Like, Jim's a good man. Of course, maybe he'll go in with the police. Gordon's trying to handle the situation. Of course, the animals attack. With Gordon getting shot. Not dead, but I don't think it was a fatal shot. It seems that also that Barbara's a cop in this continuity. Now, if you know Barbara Gordon, she is back to Gordon's daughter, but she was never a cop. She never joined the GCPD. Gordon didn't want her to. I think the time she ever been part of GCPD might have been in the Lego Batman movie, where they ain't age appropriate for Batman to have a crush on. Yeah, let's not go into that detail. Also, if you want to recommend comics, like one shots and stuff, iconic stories, and also not continuity heavy, I want to check them out. Because I want to read the comic stories from start to finish, even though it will take me a long time to catch up to the one day. So, like any alternate continuity stories you want me to check out, like one shots, alternate series, etc. Let me know in the comments down below. Anyway. Alfred's told not to engage as he watches. They just want to see the Batman in action. See his design, how he's jacked. He's badass. And having freaking Batarans tied to the ears, that is fucking cool, actually. That is quite unique. Yes, Batman fights more brutally, but he still doesn't kill. Interesting. Batman does fight most of the time, but his attacks are never that brutal when it comes to scare tactics. Like, he sure breaks bros and stuff, but not stab someone purposely missing vital organs. Like, Jesus Christ. He even carries a freaking axe on his bat symbol. And cuts up a guy's freaking hand. So yeah, this Batman's a badass. Albert, custody of the bears, Albert is told to engage. But Batman easily dismantles Albert, and even taking his gun. Because Albert's not an idiot. He actually figures out Bruce Wayne's identity pretty quickly. So Bruce is a normal kid, grew up in a normal household, except he grew up in Crime Alley. Ooh, that's a great knowledge of Batman's history. We don't know anything about Batman's history. Where have you been? Batman's parents, Thomas and Martha Wayne, were murdered at Crime Alley. And there's a slight nod to that early on, as Bruce is going to go to talk with Thomas and Martha to see a movie where Thomas and Martha met years ago. As you know, after seeing that movie, they were killed in the main continuity. So it's a nice little nod to that. So we also learned Bruce is pretty smart. Martha here is a physician, I think. Huh. So, which is interesting. Like, so no billion-dollar companies this time in this continuities, because, like I said, this Bruce Wayne is not have the privilege of money and stuff on his side to fund this crime fighter. To fund this life of a crime fighter. He's doing this all from scratch, which makes it even more impressive. So most likely, one thing that ends like the Ultimate Continuity, and there have a couple more issues where we see them cross over the main continuity version of the heroes. Imagine Batman, Absolute Batman, freaking battle out. Who will win? Main Batman or Absolute Batman? My money's on our Batman, but Absolute Batman will definitely be more brutal in his fight, in his tactic, in the type of fighting style. We learned that trip to the zoo, Thomas was shot and killed by some bugs. And he put the chip before he was shot. He put Bruce and all the other kids in where the bats are for safety. He was killed. So after that, Bruce had more trouble live. He got in trouble at one point. But eventually, basically finding a goal. He goes back to school. He's pretty intelligent, loads of markings. Even was part of the football team at one point, but left due to an injury. An injury which Albert points out is fake. He faked an injury just to get out of it. Well, he could be the professional. He was not skilled. No, he wanted to do it to find his crime because he found a purpose of what to do. He's been training for this for a long time. I think that Bruce has one weakness, and we see this continuous version of Martha Wayne. She's still alive in this continuity, which is an interesting idea for a dynamic. In fact, this might have been a bit inspired by Spider-Man, where it makes a Batman Beyond. Not entirely, more like influenced slightly, not entirely inspired by like Terry McGinnis was. Except, he never had any regrets with his father, as he never argued or anything that day. But still, having Martha be alive was definitely a ability that Aunt May like, well, for Bruce. Not a bad thing either. It's quite different, and that's nothing wrong with that. It was reimagining the Bat mythos. So Bruce, also Bruce works at a construction site. Was that night at his base, which was like his version of the Batcave somewhere. He's attacked. Batcave seems his home base might be up on a construction site in a building somewhere, I don't know. Abandoned building maybe. Those upward attacks. Those Bruce easily defeats him. And even Magic Modify it's gotta be non-lethal. That's actually pretty cool. He even steals Albert's bike. Giving him the bat cycle. As he escapes. Oh, bloody hell. I mean, as a bit Gotham definitely has changed now. The life of the Batman. Our forces to superiors. So if he interferes again, you don't know if he interferes again, do the same as before. Probably gets ass kicked again. I don't know when he and Bruce will become allies. but they will at some point. Also, that Alfred, that the guy Alfred had tagged on, disappeared into the wind. So Alfred's been tracking for 5 years. Then cut to some dudes in the helicopter talking about their boss saying, I want to say not just to call him Sir. The guy has a different name. Arthur, Jack. He could call over the hell, he'd be whatever the hell he wants. He's the richest dude in the city. But the dude, never tell a joke about the guy. He never laughs. That's why he's called the Joker. Yep, in this continuity, the Joker is a billionaire. Damn. And why not seeing everybody colours? The Joker is called Duty. He's a fucking demon. Damn. There's one out of imagining as that ends the first issue. Absolute Batman is fucking good. I really want to continue reading. But for now, I'm gonna check out that Todd McFarlane's Spawn series. Because I heard it's pretty popular. Something like direction. Anyway, I do plan to continue reading more Absolute Batman when the show ever comes out, because it's obviously in production currently, since it was announced. So, it may take us a couple of years before we get there, but I'm definitely going to be catching up in the Absolute Universe. I want to check out Absolute Wonder Woman, Superman, Flash, Green Lantern, Arrow, Martian Manhunter, and even the upcoming Absolute Catwoman series. It's not yet come out. It's releasing next month. So, time recording is theirs. So yeah, like you guys watching. If you enjoy my content, please thumbs up button. Once more, subscribe to the channel. It's going to be like I said earlier. If you have any recommendations for other comic series, not ongoing, not in continuity, like not the modern comics, like stuff, what ongoing is like from Marvel and DC, but other that's kind of out of continuity, even older comics, like a Binding Eyes, I'm willing to give them a read and view on this channel. You stick with me. So, thank you guys. I'll see you all next time for another video. Comic Book Avenger out.